Good evening. It is Dan and Kyle do Hollywood. Today we have some pretty special guests. Myself, I'm really special. We've got our buddy Dagger.
Hi.
And we've got Mr. Fruguy, our interim production manager guy, producer. We had to fire him.
I don't live in the hills.
Who we had to fire and then rehire right at last minute.
Also don't worry. DPK didn't do his job, and he didn't set up a new channel. So here we are.
I didn't link the Streamlabs to the new YouTube, and I have to wait 24 hours to link the new YouTube to go live. I didn't know that. That's changed. We also have the infamous It's Just Ian.
How's it going, guys?
Better than you, apparently. So that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't get sniped in my fleet payout.
That's always nice. And collecting our questions. If you guys have any questions, Lady Pool will be collecting them and reading them off in a few minutes, actually. So let's start the show off. How's everybody doing tonight? Or don't everybody speak at once? Well, okay, I'll start. I'm actually doing really well. I had a decent day at work. I got some good news regarding work, so there's that. Fruguy, how's your night going? Day going? Weekend? Whatever. How's your last week been? All right, good talk. How about Dagger? Wait, can anybody? I cannot hear anybody. Is anybody speaking? What is going on? Hold on.
It was my end for a second.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Thought
can you guys hear?
No, it was me. It was me.
I know.
Did anybody hear what I said?
Yes, we heard you. You just didn't hear us. I said, tell everyone what your good news is.
Sorry if I cut anybody off. I didn't know. My bad.
Yeah, there was nothing after. I heard nothing after Dagger said, "Tell everybody your good news."
Well,
from DPK, that is.
My good news is that I will be moving to another shop, and I will be getting a pay raise. So I can't. It's two pay raises basically wrapped in one. So I can't really complain about that.
Oh, but you can and you will.
Well, eventually, yes.
Yes, he will, and I'll be the one to hear about it. Well, so will you guys, actually.
I don't have to listen, though. I can turn him off. I'm not married to him.
I'm very good at ignoring him, so we're good.
We can mute him in Discord.
That is true. I can also make him go away from my Discord. So I'm not super worried about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Ray Rock, how's it going? I've had a pretty decent day. I'm a little busy. I'm taking first in both arenas today. Don't mind. I'm going to be a little quiet during my fleet climb. I don't have access to it while I'm doing a fleet battle.
I was telling DPK, play the GIF. Every time you say that, he has to play the GIF.
Oh, that's right. We have a GIF, don't we?
Oh,
I forgot.
Yes.
I need to.
Is that the Star-Lord one?
I need to figure that.
Yep.
I need to. Fruguy, we're gonna have to sit down and actually do that. I want to be able to proc that on the screen. That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, we have this problem where one of us is never available to do prep work. I would say the nose goes, but you can't see us.
Yeah.
But it's definitely DPK. So he got in late today. So we decided to start on time and just not prep, because what's prep?
I love procrastinating.
Right?
Absolutely. See,
I would
thank
like
you,
to-
Ian. Thank you, Ian.
Fun fact: Relic 5 Millennium Falcon just well, he didn't one shot. He only had half of his protection and full health on a Gear 12 plus 5 Falcon, and yeah, he killed it.
He ate dirt.
Yeah.
Nice.
130k like on a
Woo,
basic.
Good golly. That's disgusting.
Oh, I know. It's beautiful. I'm glad I have it and no one else in my shard.
No, everybody else is too busy relicking their Sith Empire that's dying out. I bet Ian's happy that Darth
Oh,
Vader's
yeah.
starting to cycle out.
Dude, I love the GR so much right now. I hate Sith Empire so much.
Well, it may be dying out on his shard, but it's alive and strong on mine.
Yeah. I've been kind of advocating for don't do anything with relics yet. Wait for the meta, unless you're gonna do one of three factions: Geos, Galactic Republic, and Rebels. Those are the three you should go in on: Han, Chewie, CLS, your Geonosians, or your Padme team, essentially.
Yeah.
GK, Anakin, and Snip specifically.
Obviously, GBA
Have
would
you faced
be up.
Has anybody faced a Geos team with relics, though?
I have not.
I have faced a Geo Brood Alpha with a level 7 relic.
There are so many GBA mixes with the Maliks in my shard. It's crazy. I fight them all the time.
Yeah, it's not too bad though.
Yeah, it's.
Well, I'm just I guess we'll see the full Geo squad this coming, well, as of tomorrow probably in GA.
Yeah, no real notes or news that happened except for we've been. We'll talk about this a little later, but we've been losing a lot of people from the community.
Yes, a lot.
But the biggest news, I guess, is relics. And my initial thought on them was that they are probably the worst thing to happen to the game since Jedi Revan.
I'm gonna
The feelings
argue.
haven't changed, but I've eased up on like the hyperbole that goes along with the power level because of the amount of gear it takes to get them to 6 and 7. Even the whales don't have a ton of them yet.
Yeah.
I expect that to change over time, but the immediate effect of them has been a lot less than I initially thought because most people are only getting them to 3 or 4. We're still like what, week 1, maybe week 2 still.
No, this is week 1.
Yeah,
Relics has literally
we're
been
still-
out for 7 days.
Okay. Well, yes. So relics have been out for 7 days, and this is only a weekend. But my thoughts on how terrible these are for the game hasn't changed.
No.
And Ian said this on his video. I want new content, not new gear tiers, not new stars, essentially.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. That's how I feel. That's how a lot of people feel.
Hey, now.
Like,
New
he gave us a
content.
new progression system. Nowhere to use the progression.
Yeah, exactly. But me and you have been
That being said, I went
we've been screaming that for weeks now.
Forever.
Give us new content, not reskinned content that is quote unquote difficult. It's not difficult.
So Ian actually has been, I don't want to say gung-ho, but he's been pretty positive about relics from the beginning. Do you want to kind of summarize the thoughts from your video?
Yeah, I think relics. I think the only problem with relics is like two things. I think there's the one with getting the 6 and 7 because free to play can somewhat get all the way up to level 5 in around a week because of all like the little workarounds, with like getting all those gear pieces, and signal data is gonna be a little bit of annoyance. But I think when it comes to like the later parts of the game and like the progression of the game, I think it's gonna be good. I just think the biggest reasons that I don't like it is because it came out too fast with like how the timing was from Gear 13 to now. And honestly, I think what would have been really good timing was maybe around the next TV, but it seems like they're trying to crunch all this money in right now so they can I'm really hopeful of this whole thing. I'm really optimistic. I'm really hoping that they're going to take all this revenue they're getting from the relics and they're going to make something really cool down the line, like a new PvE mode or just something that we can actually play and that's not TB oriented. That's totally different, like either a new raid or I know me and Jagger were chatting about this last night. Maybe like a new upgraded version of Galactic War that's just like you and you just keep on going versus some higher end teams. Which can kind of feel like a little sandbox mode as well. You just kind of play around in it. So I'm really hopeful for the game, and I don't think Relics. I do think that it will be kind of this next year will kind of determine how I feel about it a little bit more. But I think for now I'm not too worried about it.
That was precisely my thought too. I will have a much better like idea of where I think I'm going to be in this game going forward after this GAC week is over.
Yeah.
Whether I go to like a casual guild and take kind of a step back from competitive because it's not possible, right? We'll see how bad the GAs are.
Well, something interesting is I know if you use like the bots and what's this bot called that I like to use, the DSR bot, it now includes the relics, like the tiers of relics. So I'm not sure if this is just like a nice tool to see what the opponent has, or maybe this is actually implemented into the matchmaking system, because if it is, then that's totally fine with me, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
So my thoughts on the whole relics is that the people that... So you get quite a decent boost of GP from actually relicking characters. So I think pretty soon that
Oh, so we turned that into a verb now? Got it.
I mean, why not? I think it'll kind of like shift the matchmaking a little bit. The people that have all the relics are gonna get guys with all the relics. I think it's going to kind of even itself out, because I don't think Gears 13 really separated much as they had initially thought or hoped, whatever that be. So,
Well, here's the thing with the relics. Okay, it gives you the big GP boost when you start putting them on. So that's going to factor into the people that have a bunch of them. Now, the people that only have one or two of them, it's not really going to matter. So what that's going to do in turn is the people with only one or two relic pieces on a significant team, they'll drop those down on defense. They won't be able to be beaten. And then you'll have, it's basically going to create a separation of those with and those without. Because I myself am not in a place where I can even put my first Gear 13 team up right now. I've still got too much stuff to work on. Farming those gear pieces, I can't farm those gear pieces because I need to get tunes to Gear 12. So it's already creating a separation, especially in my arena shard. So where I was hovering just before the last Darth Revan event, I was almost back in the top 200. Before that, I'd have been as high as 150 or so. And now with these relics, it's putting a separation where if you don't have relics, you're probably within a month going to be below 500 in my arena shard.
Also, to piggyback on that, I remember when I unlocked Darth Revan, because I got him the first time around, and for like 3 months, I had a brick wall in Grand Arena.
yeah.
Right? Like, I had a brick wall my opponents could not scale. Which is one thing when it's a journey event, it's a paywall. The people with Malak had an even better brick wall, because I couldn't beat their brick wall sometime. Right? Now, the brick wall is a combination of, it's just your wallet. Because any team can now be that brick wall if it's relic.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it doesn't matter what it is. The power boost is just there, where you can put your level 7 Tuskens in the front row under, Farm Boy Luke and like one other person. And your opponents probably aren't going to get through it if they don't have like relic tunes themselves.
Yeah.
Just because of the survivability and the damage. So it's not just creating a gap in like, oh, I have X, Y, and Z tune because I spent money to unlock X, Y, and Z tune to build this team. It's now just my pocketbook is deeper, so fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it boils down to, really.
Yeah, to
I mean,
quote
like-
Darth Microtransaction, if you spend the money and buy the stuff for relics, congratulations. Now, once again, I'm better at this game.
Pretty much. I mean, that definitely checks out.
Right? So, Frugai, what have you been working on since you mentioned you've been following an arena? What have you been working on to catch up? Because out of the four of us, essentially, you are the one who is kind of behind.
Darth Revan.
Yeah.
I've geared up Sith Trooper somewhat so I could have him as a pre-taunt on the team. Haven't started using him yet, but got Darth Revan to gear 11 in the last few days, and got him. I need 2 Mark 8 Laroner power cells, and to finish those, I need 100 Mark 6 droid collars, 2 Carbonis, and I think it's 2 Mark 5 thermal detonator prototypes, and 2 Mark 5 gold med packs. So
Yep.
that's basically going to be the gear that I'm purchasing for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep. This is going to be a kind of a recurring thing, so you want to kind of let people know where you are in the game.
Yeah. So right now I'm at 3.2 million GP. I do have both Revans now. Don't have Malik, so that'll be hopefully the next time around. I've already got some of those tunes to high enough power. Just got to work on the rest of them. So that's where I'm at.
What legendaries are you missing? Any of them?
I don't have C3PO yet. I should have him 5-star unlocked this next time, which that'll be in a few days. I think it's just C3PO and Malik that I don't have. I have a 6-star Padme, and I'm working on. I unlocked Geonosian Brood Alpha, so hopefully the next time that comes around, I'll have him 7-star and can get 7-star Padme.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
All right.
So that's all. That's the only legendaries I don't have. Was basically Malik, 7-star Padme, and C3PO.
Okay. And you're going to get C3PO this time at 5 stars. Are you going to continue on your Ewoks up to 7-star, or are you going to like pivot?
Well, I'm still farming. Yeah, I'm on. Well, I have Chief Chirpa at 5-star. When I get done with Brood Alpha, I'm probably going to go back and finish Chief Chirpa so I can get C3PO 7-star. And I'm farming Wicked's node right now for his shards and stun guns as well. So he'll get there eventually.
All right. Now, Frugai, myself, and DPK are going to mute our mics, and we're going to let Ladypool ask Ian some questions.
Here we go. Question time.
Yes, if my browser stops being a dork. There it goes. So, wow, I forgot where I was starting, guys. Sorry. I want to start off with your channel. Like, where can people find you? Do we
Yeah.
have that posted in the link in the description? Because I have totally not looked.
Yes, there.
I'm not sure if it's there, but my channel
The link
is
is
it's
there.
just Ian. Okay, yeah, it's there. It's just Ian. Pretty simple. Nothing crazy. There's no lowercase L's this time. It used to be that though, with all the I's, but nope. It's just Ian now. I do daily videos on this game, so I'm very passionate about Star Wars in this game. A lot of different content there.
Padme.
Where do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm thinking, where do I want to start with this? What made you initially want to work on Padme?
Well, this was. See, Malik's already been out this time in the game, and I didn't get Malik the first time, so I'm looking at a good counter team. And my JKR, I just wasn't feeling it at the time. I've been playing with the guy for a long, long time, and I wanted something different in my arsenal. And Padme came out. I barely got her, 7-star. It's a long time ago, but that stream was crazy if you guys were all the way back there on my channel watching that stream. But I got Padme, and I'm like, dude, this Padme, her kit is something that's going to be special. And from then, I just kind of try to figure out different comps. And I'm sure there's another question of how I figured out still Padme, and I just kind of figured out still Padme there. Her cleanse,
Yep,
all that juicy stuff.
It's actually one of the things I was going to ask is how did you originally formulate the slow Padme squad, and what made you want to go that route?
So one of the biggest things that I love about this game is GA, and I've been playing for a long time, probably for almost 4 years now, and my mods, they're pretty deep. I got a pretty deep mod depth to all of it, and I really wanted to get some really good speeds for other teams that weren't necessarily a counter team. So I wanted to have a counter team that wasn't ridiculous on the speeds, but it could still counter some top-end teams like Malik or JKR. By that time, I was just kind of figuring out the Malik counter, and like the first month or so, I still didn't even really figure it out, but I was onto something I knew. And it wasn't up until probably like a month or so ago where I had it down to a T of what I was doing. So, I mean, yeah, it's really fun to use. Padme, you don't need fast mods. You can, if you want, run a faster Padme, but I don't know. I like slow Padme, especially for GAC. And that's kind of how I figured it out.
What piece is missing from Padme?
Oh, man. Oh, there's some people in my Discord that they're like, dude, relics are the missing piece. And honestly, if you think about all of the extra HP you're getting from relics, there is for sure a missing piece there. I mean, extra HP is what Padme is all about. And the leadership with extra HP, I mean, the whole cleansing. And if you want to toss in 3PO for even more protection up, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff there. But I still think we are still missing a fifth. I'm hoping it's going to be Mace Windu. What I think the team is missing is an extra taunt would be pretty nice. And hopefully another cleanse. I know GK has a taunt and a cleanse, but I would really like to see something else, kind of like a Clone Wars Chewbacca, because he does have 2 abilities, 2 specials that don't do damage, and one is a cleanse on himself. It's not like a huge, AoE cleanse or anything, but he's got that. He's got taunt, which is really, really helpful. And plus, on top of that, he's got a huge HP pool. So I think something kind of like Clone Wars Chewbacca-esque, or maybe an attacker down the line, kind of like another Ahsoka, would be pretty big because if you think about it, the 501st will probably be needing Ahsoka soon. So I'm sure that will probably be seeing somebody else.
Yeah, Ahsoka would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What project do you see yourself working on next?
Well, I am, I think everybody right now is working on Shaak Ti and the clones. I want to dive deeper into the clones for sure. I want to try to figure out some other comps, but I really would just like to work with the GR more because they're one of the biggest factions in the game right now, probably outside of like Rebels, and there's just so much depth to them. And I think with these like new light side TV coming out, we're going to get some more reworks. Like I think we're going to for sure get Mace, like I mentioned. We'll hopefully get some others like these Plo Koon, like the Clone Wars Jedi, Plo Koon, Eeth Koth, Barriss, hopefully Barriss. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Just other stuff like that. I would just love to go more in depth with clones, with these Jedi, see what's cooking. Maybe there's because I'm like all about like light side Jedi, clone stuff like that. I like that part of the game and about Star Wars, but I would like to see a team that kind of catches my eye soon. That's not a light side team, that I find to be pretty cool. I'd like to do just branching out kind of like that down the line.
What do you think about the 501st reworks?
Oh, they're awesome. When I first saw those things, their kits and they're all reworks, I was like, man, these things are going to be nuts. These 3 clones, man. You get 5s that can, I mean, there's so much to go into. But yeah, all in all, I think 501st will for sure be the meta, I think, for a little bit. I'm not too sure how long it'll be, but if we're going to get this new legendary soon, I think we'll for sure see 501st being meta for a little bit.
I still think Cody needs a rework.
Yeah, he does. He's been
Yeah.
there for so long.
What is the Zeta order and Zeta purpose?
So on the Padme team, or are you talking about Padme or the clones? Probably Padme, right?
I don't know. Nobody specified, so I'm gonna go with both.
Okay,
The
well,
question was for the Padme team specifically.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. So Padme,
Okay.
there's really 2 different variations when you're talking about the order for Zetas. The slow Padme team is a little bit different. Really, any Padme team is going to be a little bit different versus Malix in particular, and then outside of Malix, it's going to be a little bit different as well. Padme has two Zetas rather on the unique and on the leadership. Pretty much though, if you want to chat inside of the mallet counter, it's going to be like this. So you will want to for sure have Padme's lead for the Zeta, and then I would say go for GK next, and then straight after you want to go for Anakin. I really find that both Anakin and GKs are extremely important to the team, and without either of those, you're going to really find yourself having a hard time beating any Malix, in my opinion at least. And then after that, if you can, go for Ahsoka. But outside of those 4, that's all you really need to fight Malix. But when you want to go outside of Malix, it's a little bit different. So you want to go straight for Padme's lead again. But instead of going for, Anakin's later down the line, you actually want to go straight for, I would say, Padme's unique, because outside of Malix, you're going to find a lot of teams that are going to be countering you and attacking on a turn on you, like the Geos, kind of like CLS. So having extra protection up gain is going to be huge. And then right after that, I would go for GK, because you need the taunt. Without a taunt, he's going to be, the whole team's going to kind of fall apart a little bit. And then I would probably, slot in Ahsoka right after. I don't find Ahsoka Zeta to be, super important to the team, but she is definitely a good Zeta. I'm not saying it's awful. I just don't find it to be as important as the other Zetas on the list. So there you guys kind of have it for the Zetas.
I want to go back to the relics for a second.
All right.
Mostly because Servos has a question about it. What level relic is actually viable?
See, I know a lot of people saying level 3 is, and if you look at some of these boosts, I mean, I just got my GK up there to level 3 today, and there's quite of a big boost, I think, from level 2 to 3. But we mentioned a little bit earlier that relics, you can get relics levels 1 through 5 pretty free to play-ish, I guess you could say. And I think level 5 is probably the way to shoot if you want to talk about being safe and having a strong character with the relic level. But if you want to have something viable, I would honestly say at least levels 2 and up would be viable. Levels 1 is just not going to cut it, I think, when you were talking about relics.
I think you're onto something with the level 5, though. Because I played a JKR team with a level 4 relic on it today, on JKR.
Yeah.
And I almost wiped the floor with him. And my only relic is it's a level 1 relic on Grandmaster Yoda. And still, it was easy to beat that team. I was a little surprised. So I'm thinking level 5 might be where the big gap starts happening, like between the power levels and stuff.
Well, it kind of makes sense too, because if you think about all the gear needed and all that signal data, it's gonna, it's got to be worth something, right? So I definitely think that as well.
Yeah. Now this one is about getting the relics. Like, did you start spending to get the relics to help you move forward in the game?
Not yet. I mean, I like I said, I think you can get a lot of these relics done level 5, free to play, and I think it's like we just had the earlier questions right before this. I think you can still be competitive in this game with level 5 relics. You don't need level 7. And honestly, with how I'm going to kind of go about relics is I want to kind of go free to play. unless there's like just some nasty character down the line. Hopefully we get like this from Skywalker. I might go level 7 on that guy just because he's nuts. I mean, he's got to be nuts. He's a leadership, right? Hopefully. And I think you can kind of get away level 5, but on some of these relics, you might want to consider going level 7. But yeah, I'm playing all this relic game for the foreseeable future, 100% free to play. I haven't spent anything yet. So far, I got level 6 on Anakin. I got 2 level 3s on GK and a Padme. And everything else I have, what's that, like 4 others I got, G13, all level 1. That's it.
All right. Anybody else have any more questions out there in TV land?
Well, one thing I kind of wanted to ask you, Ian, is what changed with your mindset? Because I know you were a free-to-play player for about 3 years before you finally put some of your own money into the game. And I know some of that comes from YouTube revenue, etc.
Yep.
Right? But can you kind of talk about what made you want to spend, except for, like, producing content? Was there anything that, like, what packs have you bought? Did you think they were good value? What was the reason behind you deciding to spend money in this game after being free to play for so long?
So yeah, I was well, let's say this. I've been playing this game since December 2015. So this coming movie time for the next movie, it'll be 4 years. So yeah, I'm not sure the exact date when I started spending. I'm guessing it was around 2 to 3 months ago. But when I'm considering buying packs, especially from like some of these, like this new content, I'm not going to buy any of this relics like I mentioned. But there was some other good packs, and like for example, the GBA guy, the Geonosian Bernalfo, he came out. I found his pack to be very, very worthwhile, and it wasn't that bad of a price. When I'm thinking of buying packs for like money's sake, I just can't go above $30 honestly for really anything for just straight up packs. But yeah, I bought that pack. I bought what are those daily packs, like the $8 ones? I mean, those are great value. But honestly, when it comes for me, at least for buying packs in the store, always the value of the pack, what you're getting in the pack. And honestly, for like these $60, they might have some good stuff in it for the money, but I can't tell myself to get those. It just kind of is out of the price range for me, at least. But yeah, the YouTube definitely helps with some of the money. If I wanted to, I could definitely whale out on all the stuff, but just for my sake and for trying to get content, I'm still not gonna whale out on these things. But I have mentioned this in previous videos of mine. I do spend a lot. I'd probably say over 60 to 70% of my money that I spend in this game is just straight up on crystals for refreshing nodes in Arena. That's what it's really for. All the other stuff is just kind of small packs I buy every so often for like the bundles and whatnot. So yeah.
What prompted you to initially spend? Was it your channel?
I think it was. If I had no YouTube and none of this was really a thing for me, I probably wouldn't spend anything on this game, honestly. Before that, I did spend $10 on the small bundle a long time ago on Fallen Bastila, and if there's no no money that I'm from YouTube, I probably wouldn't spend it all, honestly. So YouTube is a really huge part in my mind and how I can spend some money.
Yeah, so kind of going off of that a little bit, there have been a lot of retirements in this game, and we can all kind of unmute now, I guess, because we're going to move on a little bit. But have you had any retirements from your guild or your shard recently?
Not recently. Honestly, I don't think so. We have had some just random recruits from just like in-game that join and leave a lot, but I don't think we've had any long-time players leave after Relics have came out. That's for my guild, at least. It could be totally different for my shards.
Okay. Yeah, so we've had a couple people quit. We even had 2 of our bigger members from our guild quit, and they kind of cited the you can't be a dolphin anymore in the game. So they're kind of alienating the middle spenders, the small whales and large dolphins. Because in order to compete with Relics, you had to have bought all the packs. Like, yeah. I bought the $60 pack because I was just like, oh, cool, whatever, let's do this for science. Like, I did it, like, you talked about it on your stream, etc. We kind of talked about it the day it dropped.
Yeah.
But I spent $60, and it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter, because there's people in my shard who bought the 7-star, or the level 7s.
Yeah. Well, I like how you were talking about the middle spenders. This game is really hard to keep up if you're a middle spender right now. I think it is. You can play totally casually. I mean, free to play is really hard to keep up with just like all around things in this game. But when it comes to like getting relics, I think you can still do it free to play. But getting to that point with tier 13s is still not free to play friendly right now. But yeah, I think the most majority of people leaving, like you said, are those middle spenders like the Dolphins. Not really the whales or Krakens, but those middle spenders.
Yeah, the
Yep.
the heavy dolphins, light whales, and
Yeah.
basically lower.
Yeah, the people who are free to play, this generally doesn't affect.
Yeah.
And Frugai can correct me if he's wrong, but if I'm wrong. But outside of specifically Arena, I'm not sure that this affects him at all when it comes to things like GA. Because like the people he's going to be fighting is going to be based on your top X characters, and because of the weight of the GP, he probably won't fight anyone with a level 7 relic.
Right.
This is going to affect, like, I bought the $60 pack. This is going to affect me, probably. I inflated the very top of my roster, and it
There
could come
might-
back to bite me.
Yeah, especially if they're going to
I might
implement
face
relics.
somebody with one tune or maybe 2 or 3, but you know the one like some of the very focused rosters that are around 3 million, because I did jump up divisions. I kind of waited until division lock, and then since then I've jumped up to the next division. So the next time around, anybody that's 3.1 million or above that might have 1 to 2 relics or 3 maybe on a team, there's a chance that I'll face those.
Yeah. So, one of the cool things about this stream specifically is we get all the aspects. I've been a very heavy spender at times in this game, and I know DPK has been a small spender, through pretty much probably throughout the entirety of him playing this game, although he had a couple breaks. And Frugai's been 99.999% free to play, as in he's never spent his own money on this game. So we have a bunch of perspectives here, and Ian kind of is in that free to play category as well, mostly because the money he's spending again is not like. I don't want to say it's not your money. Yeah, you're basically spending YouTube revenue on the game.
Yeah.
So it's still like costing you anything, so to speak.
Yeah, it's not costing really anything if you want to do the numbers. I'm not sure. Let's not go to numbers, but yeah, definitely not my own money that I've spent from since I spent any money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the reason we brought this, I wanted to bring this up was we lost Scotty McLaren and Darth Microtransaction from the game.
Yeah.
Right? We lost a podcast co-host and, you know, I don't want to call him one of the bigger YouTubers necessarily, because he was a pretty big YouTuber, but one of the fastest up-and-coming YouTubers
Yeah.
from this game. And it wasn't necessarily because of relics. It was because of the spending that was being conditioned from the whales, right? Because I've talked about this before. They're turning free-to-plays into minnows, minnows into dolphins, dolphins into whales, whales into krakens, and milking the kraken. And they're okay losing half the dolphins as long as half those dolphins become whales, and so on down. And seeing the attrition from the game kind of breaks my heart a little, because I'm seeing the people that like I'm friends with quitting. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying I won't. I'm not going to say I'm going to stop being friends with like Scotty, right? But we're going to talk less. You know, like I'm not saying he's out of my life or I'm out of his, but I'm not going to talk to him as much. We're going to have slightly less to talk about. And again, not that any of this is like a negative thing for the individual people who are quitting, because I'm sure the quality of life of a lot of the people who are quitting is improving. I know my quality of life would be better if I quit. I know that. I'd have 2.5 hours of my day that I could do whatever the hell I wanted instead of worry about a week.
Yeah.
Right?
And,
So,
and to
what are
kind
some of your guys'...
and to hold on,
Sorry, go ahead.
to kind of piggyback off that is, if you guys don't know, Scotty quit the game. He came to terms that he had a spending addiction on this game. Not to, you know, like completely blurt his stuff out there, but I think a lot of people are dealing with that same issue. And if you feel like you're stuck in a endless loop of spending that you can't put it down, or you can't stop, like, because I think numerous players had offered to actually give Scotty his account, and he turned it down. Reach out to somebody, talk to somebody. You know, our buddy Helenix, he has reiterated this multiple times on multiple different channels. People have to realize they have an issue spending. There is an issue with spending on this game at this moment. I used to say, you know what, I've been playing this game same amount of time as Ian, and I don't mind putting a little bit of money here and there, and it's to the point where
I think he says that mostly because he knows I will kill him otherwise.
no,
I don't think any of us really want to talk about the actual amount of money.
No, I'm
right. I don't think that's a
absolutely not.
conversation we actually want to start. At least not on stream.
No,
Right.
Exactly. But I've been able to come to terms with my spending on the game in this way. I would at the point up until this point, I would much rather spend $60 to $100 a month on this game that I've been playing for 4 years, that I have continued to play for 4 years, than buy a console game that I pick up, I beat within a couple weeks to a month, and it sits there and collects dust. I don't really enjoy PvP on video games because I'm not the type. I work a full-time job. I don't have time to sit there and grind and get all the levels for weapons and player cards, like in Battlefront 2. Like when I've played with Ian and Ranger on stream, I don't have the time. I have 2 kids that, you know, when I come home from work, if I have the time, I'd much rather spend it with them than playing a video game on the TV. Plus, it ends up starting a fight with them, and I end up putting the game down anyways. So that's how I've been able to justify my spending in this game. People might be different. I
just like winning.
Well, and I do too.
I have no. I'm saying, like, I have purchased wins in this game in various ways.
Right.
Right. Like I bought the Gear 13 pack. I have refreshed nodes to the point where I had to purchase crystals to expedite nodes or expedite gear, like Kyrotex. Right. I spend to shorten the time frame in which to finish characters to use them in PvP. So, for example, I think Ian and I talked about this a little bit before this. Yes, last night. Things I will spend on are good value packs in the store. Like, I didn't purchase it, but there was the $30 pack that gave you like a gold eyeball, basically a full stun gun, etc. in the pack. I forget what else it gave you. The $8 pack.
It gave you stun cuffs as well.
Yep, the $8 pack that I did not buy. Those kind of things. That's what I would normally buy.
Dagger
good
was
value
kicking
packs.
himself about not being able to not buying the $8 pack.
It was a decision I made on principle, right?
It is, and I agree.
There wasn't really any good reason, but me and Ian talked about that. They released this pack right after Relics, and it had Cantina Energy. Like, that's another thing they're pushing down your throat to buy.
Well, on top of that, it was double drops too. I mean, it was they were timing it for right then. I mean, it's kind of mischievous of them to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was devious. It was almost downright predatory in a way.
Yeah.
Releasing that pack during double drops, Relics just dropped. There's only a couple days until GA relock.
I mean, well, this isn't to say where like you can still like hoard up energy, but you gotta know they gotta give us at least a little bit more time to know when double drops is, or else a free to play can't, get that pack because they're free to play, they got to kind of hoard up their energy to use the energy. And if they don't, then they're going to be wasting all these crystals. And not every free to play can get 900 crystals a day. So
And not every guild says, all right, guys, skip your 600 today because double drops are tomorrow.
yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
Not every guild is like, you know what, guys, the 600. Don't worry about 600s today because your personal growth is more important than you're still going to get 500 tickets, right? It's not like you're getting a 0 because you still have to use your normal. But do your refreshes for tomorrow 20 minutes before reset or whatever, right? Or 5 minutes before reset. That way you have more energy for. Yeah, not every guild does that. Some guilds actually require you to get your 600 and things like that, which means you have to. To me, part of this is the whole TB argument all over again. Or part.
yeah.
There's one issue with TB, and it's not the one. I have more than one issue, but it's the. You have the times that you enter the game, and things like double drops alter those times that you enter the game. If you don't wait till you're reset at your midnight or whenever your midnight on your game is, if you moved your payout, you might not be able to do the refresh the day before, do my today's refreshes and my tomorrow's refreshes at the same time. Right? So you have to stay up if you want to get maximum value out of your double drops. The same is kind of true for the TB, where now it starts at midnight or noon. And it's not a big deal. It's just sometimes I log in. My cadence is to log in 3 times a day, roughly, right? And if CMs are blocked off because platoons aren't done, and then the next time I log in, deployment's not open, I sometimes get yelled at to deploy because I'm not going to log into the game until after the phase ends because of the way my cadence is in game.
Yeah, the whole
Right, 'cause I
36-hour territory battle phase day.
Yeah, so
is
basically,
just-
full disclosure, like my refresh is at 1 p.m. and territory battles ends at noon, my time. So I don't log in till 1. I have to log in before noon to deploy, but that's making me log in an additional time. And it's not like it's a huge deal, but it affects your daily routine. And I wish that they do less stuff like that, kind of like what Ian said. Give me a couple days heads up. Give me 3 or 4 days heads up, a little bit more heads up, so I can be like, all right.
You can hoard the energies needed. Like you can hoard your ship energy because the normal nodes on the ships was part of the double drops, and that doesn't count towards your 600. Go ahead, save your ship energy. Like as a leader in my guild, every time we've gotten heads up, 2-3 days or even a week heads up on double drops, not like they did this week where, oh, hey, by the way, tomorrow starts double drops. We've said, hey, the first day we'll let you slide. Just try to get at least 500 without you, so you can save your crystals, whatever your refreshes. So
Yeah. Well, I think they purposely don't give us some of these heads ups, so we are, we have to spend almost. It gets to a point where, probably not as much for double drops. That's probably a little bit extreme, but for events, like the Malik event and some of these other, maybe possible future events, maybe like this next Drunk Skywalker, you're kind of needing to spend because they don't give us a big enough time or window to, save up all of our stuff. And that's probably one of my biggest concerns right now is they don't give us a heads up. Their communicating skills are awful. It's really, really bad all around for what they're trying to do here.
They force you to play one
I
of
didn't
two
even
ways.
know they communicated.
Yeah.
They make you,
on top
they
of
force
that,
you to play one of 2 ways. Either you hoard literally everything, right? Either you hoard literally everything forever, or you ignore the meta and just get it the second time and play your own way.
yeah, Sir Boss, I'm gonna have to say yes.
That's kind of what I am. Just ignore everything.
also to Sir Boss's question, is sacrificing the gear for level 5 relics worth it? Because I can use the stun gun on a secondary tune or level 5 JKA. If you, in my opinion, don't.
Also, I guess we can touch on chat then. Yes, Ray Rock, I've also dealt with addiction in my life.
So have
I understand what it is. Yeah, and to answer your second question, Sir Boss, it depends on if it's with a dude or a girl.
Yeah, that's the next question. But
Why would you even ask that? Okay, whatever.
We didn't say anything was limited. So, but if you want my opinion, sacrificing a stun gun for a relic is not worth it. You have
Well, that's like the one thing though. With level 5, you can the projectors are going to be even more crucial.
yes,
But,
the projectors actually give you a better bang for your buck.
Yeah. There's just like small things with relics that an average person might not know, and that's where they're going to get a little bit of an advantage. And it's kind of sneaky of them. Well, it's not really sneaky. It's just kind of stupid how they implement these small little things that not everybody will find out or figure out unless they're like super active in like chats and stuff like that.
Yeah, like if you actually listen to RSG, Finity has been, said this, I think, at least 3 times in the last week. The holo projectors, I think, one of their pieces, the craft it, if you craft their piece, you actually get a better value out of it than just doing the salvage. So you because you only need 20 of the I think it's the Mark III holo projectors.
The Mark III
Yeah.
holo projector.
So this is what I love about the community. We work together to make sure everybody has information. That's what this podcast is for. We want to give you guys information. It's one of those things that, if someone hadn't said, we would just be blindly using this. And getting the information out there is part of the battle. If you have a lot of Mark III holo projectors saved up, craft the piece, use the 20, craft the piece, and then salvage it through the scavenger, or scavenge it through whatever the hell you do through the scavenger. Because it ends up being worth it.
It's kind of sad though with the game right now, and especially like YouTube kind of stuff. Like it's probably not extreme as other stuff that's been happening with like the cheating and stuff, like what Darth Micro did and what Bulldog and all those guys did. But I was afraid to put out a video because I'm probably not the first one. I was one of the first people that even mentioned the projectors. I was kind of afraid to even mention that, or else the video could be taken down. I mean, what if CG like, oh, well, we didn't plan for that, video down, like stuff like that. Kind of just afraid of, and it's kind of sad to see, honestly, with how CG implements stuff. They just are, I don't know, man. They are just something else.
Yeah, and that's legitimately it. So, and the next thing is still relic related because this is a thing that happened this week. Sorry, guys.
Oh wait, hold on. Before we go do this, it is Territory War week, guys. Did you guys know that? It is Territory War week.
I will say yay on that because I like Territory Wars.
Wish
I
did.
will not start a TB sucks chant, but I like TW way more than TB, and I think the reason I like it is because it is a guild effort, and it feels good to win a TW because you beat another guild and your guild helped you. The problem is we're in a 220 million guild where everybody full clears everybody and everything comes down to 100 banners. Right? So like,
yeah.
Everything gets one shot, or everything can get one shot, so whoever F's up the most loses.
Exactly.
I'm not even looking forward to all these relics, man. It just kind of gives me nightmares. Holy
God.
Yeah, just super not happy.
Thank you.
Super not happy
you for
that
bringing that to
super
the
not happy
forefront of
that
my brain.
It is. If you're talking about what relics affect in the game most right now, on the top of the list is TW, and then right below that is going to be Fleet. That's just how it is.
Yep.
I mean, TW is a mosh pit of a lot of different players. Krakens, whales, like light spinners, dolphins, free to play. It's not going to be fun.
I actually haven't had that hard of a time in Fleet.
Well, I'm just kind of saying, like,
easier, and I've been able to stay in the higher rankings a lot easier than I have in my squad arena.
All I gotta
Squad
say
arena's
is
been
I had to kill a Relic 7 boss today.
Nice.
That sounds like fun.
But so
Yeah, I almost timed. For full disclosure, I almost timed out. 37 seconds on the clock when I won.
I think why I'm saying why Fleet's going to be kind of annoying is because if you are in a shard, like I'm not in a crazy whale / Kraken shard in my Fleet, but if you are, and you're not really going to be going hard into your fleet. I mean, those guys can just stomp you out, and you're never going to be able to get top rewards.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my issue.
Yeah, it's like I was talking. I think I don't remember who I was talking to this about, but I might even mention it on the stream. 120k crits for my relic, or 120k basics for my Millennium Falcon.
And you know what?
Relic number 5.
I can only get that if my Anakin gets a bonus turn.
Right?
That's just ridiculous. Oh my God.
Han's hitting for 65k on basic, and that's the first of his hits. Right? He's hitting for 100. I had him hit for 100k on basic.
Wow.
Like, relics are meta. There's no team. Go relic.
Which can be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, you know.
Yeah, go relic whatever the hell you want. If you want to build Ugnaughts with Cup and Mob Enforcer and Relic 7 them, you'll probably take first.
Yeah, there's some ships I would like to just see what the relics do to the pilots and to the ships, because I'm thinking of that one Special Forces TIE Fighter with the Anakin ship and like a Houndstooth. I mean, those guys, you get like so much DPS potential with all that extra assists and just the tankiness. I mean, come on, there's a lot of potential, but people don't want to risk their relics. They want to definitely play safe, which I get. But I'm sure there's people out there that are just having a good time with relics.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've noticed, like, my shard, we've been, like, slowly, like, I think most of the people that are in my shard haven't gone hog wild relicking Sith Empire. There's just too much that can now beat it. Like a relic 4 or 5 Grievous just completely tears through Sith Empire. A relic 4 or 5 Anakin just completely rips through Malak teams. So if you want advice on relics, move your relics characters to relic 1, 2, without breaking yourself. But if you want my opinion, I would hoard your relic stuff to know.
So, again, this kind of goes back to what I said. This kind of goes back to what I said earlier. If you want to pump relics up and you want the best single tune bang for your buck in this game currently is General Grievous. After that, you're looking at a couple of trios, CLS, Han, and Chewie, or GK, Anakin, and Ahsoka. Because they're pilots, they're a 3-person. They are going to have semi-meta fleet, right? You get to double dip. They're pretty easy. Like Ian said, it's pretty easy to free to. Like if you just want to do a couple, you can't do a ton, and then be Geos, because the Geos are necessary for TB at watch shards. They're just necessary all over. GBA, one of the best standalone characters in this game to do anything gear-wise to, because you're basically
gearing 2 characters.
and then Spy, Soldier, and Sunpack are all and
hey,
Toggles
Dagger,
like
you're breaking up, buddy.
Yeah, just tad. I think when it comes to which ones you should kind of focus on first, I mean, of course, Arena, right? But with what I'm kind of approaching this with relics is I'm going to actually for sure get the Arena guys done, and then I'm going to swap over to some GA defenses, actually, kind of like Spirit. I would like to work on Dooku. I know Tanner's in chat. He's got what is it, Tanner? Like a Relic 4 Dooku, and he's popping off with that damage, man. It's really crazy, and that's something to look into. It. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So there's just like some balls out there.
Arnold just released a video about Dooku beating Malak. I didn't watch it because I'm doing this.
Yeah,
but
I'll watch it later.
Yeah, I might watch it later. But
Who posted it?
Arnold.
Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Get to the chopper.
Tell me how it goes.
But
I don't know.
That's going to be interesting.
Relics
to see.
are. I mean, the problem with relicking Dooku is first you have to.
Get him to gear
Yeah,
13.
well, I'm not saying to like you got to do these ones. I'm just like I'm throwing out there like these guys, especially Dooku. He got one of the biggest increases when it comes to, like his damage and stuff, and with
He's
like how
always
his
hit,
kit
like,
works
wet
and stuff like
noodle.
that. Yeah, I mean, you always had some really good control on his kit. Now you get the damage and the HP. I mean, it's
That's
something to look into, especially with some other guys like Talzin's AoE with that special damage. Holy cow, you will probably be able to one shot some weaker tunes.
well, Tanner. If I'm not mistaken, because like I said, I didn't watch it, but I read the description, and he said it's with and without watch. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So basically, my thought on that though is, I'm not saying Dooku didn't get a good, but what I'm saying is for everyone's first focus on relics, you want to focus on the best bang for your buck. Unless you don't care, you just want to do whatever you want to do. The Sith Empire be your first like relic 6 or 7, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Bosk is a good one because he has the Houndstooth, and that ship's just never going to not be meta, right?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's just how that ship is just going to always be somewhere, whether it's a starter or a reinforcement. The ship is just too good and looks too ugly, right? It's just going to be everywhere.
Yeah. So
but
in
honestly-
retrospect, I took my boss to Relic 3, and his health is 99,653. His protection is 84,484. So you're looking at almost 200k total survivability at Relic level 3.
that's nasty.
That yes, it is.
Well, I was gonna say mine has 114k of survivability at relic level 1.
That's around mine too. And if Dooku gets a ship, guys, that would make him one of the relics you got to
Please
do
don't.
first.
Please don't. I don't want to gear my Dooku.
Dude,
I don't want to
Gear
Zeta
t-
him
Ge-
either.
Gear 12 Zeta.
That is Zeta
Dooku,
though, man.
Gear 12 Zeta. Dooku actually solos the Asajj Dooku mission in Phase 2 of.
That's cool. That still means I have to. That still means I have to. Still means I have
his
to gear it.
his gear is probably just as bad as Ahsoka's, or even worse, because from going to rather gear 11 to 12, you need 3 eyeballs, and there is
I know,
no chance I'm gonna get that soon.
That's what I said. I looked at his gear when I was figuring out who to gear. It was either Newt or Dooku, and yeah, it's Newt.
Newt's
Right?
actually a pretty easy gear.
That's why it's Newt.
Yeah.
Right? Because I just need characters for teams at this point, because I'm still in that crunch where I barely have enough teams.
Right.
But yeah,
Well, just throw it out there. I saw Clash. He has a level 7 relic Dooku, and he was running him in the last TB. He was hitting his shock, his lightning special, 100 plus K. He wasn't even modded correctly. He was running speed and potency. That's another cool thing though with the relics. I mean, some of these relics you can kind of change up the modding on some of these because you don't need to worry about HP or really protection because you get a huge bump in that. You can kind of focus on more damage if you want, maybe some more armor. I mean, GK is a great example. His relic gives a lot more armor and HP. He is something to look into if you want to build a Padme team. He's kind of one I want to at least get to level 5.
I look way smarter for putting all those protection mods on him now.
There you go.
I mean, because I put the protection mods on him back when Jedi Knight Revan was a thing, right? Because you regain protection when you attack out of turn.
Yeah.
So I put all protection primaries on him, 4 of them, and now that his relic gives him health, and he's stupid. I think I DM'd you a picture of him, and he's just kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Like his survivability is silly. His armor's through the roof. He's not 5s though. He's not 5s.
Oh, he's
Oh,
definitely no 5s. But have you seen Blade Bob?
Yeah,
I think he got level 7. His GK is ridiculous. Like almost, I'd say 60 to 70. I'm pretty sure it's 70% armor with all that HP. Like almost 100k HP with that armor. That's not fun, especially with how Padme works.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, DSP just says CC mods are worthless now. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
They
Well, okay. I agree for every physical damage dealer, right? Special damage dealers, it's still worth having a handful of good crit chance sets.
Oh yeah, I take that
And
back.
you-
Okay, I take it back.
And you still want a few good crit chance sets for tunes that are not Gear 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not completely useless, but they're now like arena team use. Sort of. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna leave a crit chance set on my Wicket, because he's not getting to Gear 12. Right? He's not. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
handful of tunes that are still gonna need crit chance. Karth, for example, so he gains all his turn meter.
Thousands
still-
one as well. Yeah.
Yeah. There are still characters that will need crit chance, but the value of crit chance just went through the floor. I took the crit chance set off my Chewbacca because it's like 81 without trying.
Yeah. You know what's kind of sad though for me? I was for trying to get some really good mods on Anakin kind of early on. I didn't know like that now. I kind of have a better understanding of what to mod these guys on. But when Padme and Anakin got their like, they were just like the dynamic duo, right? I was farming crit chance mods, and I don't really have a huge use for them outside of some of these teams that you just mentioned, like the Karth team, maybe HK. I mean, but my HK is kind of crappy. I mean, just CC for me, I kind of went too much into, and I'm not really happy about that right now.
Yep. I definitely have, I wouldn't say buyer's remorse, or not, I shouldn't even say buyer's remorse, right? But there's definitely a little remorse from the amount of time. I think I farmed crit chance mods for like almost a week straight at one point, just trying to
Yeah.
get enough decent ones. And like now that week is, or at least top end tunes, like, and then like I regret 6Eing like a bunch of my crit chance mods because now they're basically just going to go to Towson.
Oh yeah. See, if I'm gonna go for like a crit chance one, I think an arrow with some speed and some really good, because on speed arrows you can get an offense percent and offense, but those are like unicorns. If you find one, you got to keep them. I have like one of those in my inventory. That's on Spirit for now, but I'm not sure what is Spirit's relic. I'm not sure if it's more CC. I'm pretty sure it is though, so maybe it's not too important there. But I mean, yeah, whole CC just went down the drain a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's fine. I like that mods are changing. You know what I mean? I like that mods are slowly shifting. Like now, percents far outweigh flat stats when you get to the top end.
Oh yeah.
And health mods are so much better than they ever were.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not as upset to get health mods from challenges now because, like we've said before, now you're looking at potency, tenacity, health as your small sets. Pretty much everything else is useless as a small set. Defense is kind of useless now that the tanks are all getting armor upgrades.
Well, if you think about it, it just got a little bit more easy when it comes to modding with some like relics. I mean, some of these guys, their relics and their mastery are like, for Ahsoka and Anakin, they're totally different. Anakin is more offense based with some armor penetration. Ahsoka's is CD, CC, and damage. So for those two, you got to go for a full CD onto Ahsoka. For Anakin, you want to go for more offense, in my opinion, because now you got to just play around with what the mastery is almost.
Yeah. I enjoy the layer for modding because, again, when I remod my roster, whenever the next meta comes out and I have to trickle mods all over whatever, most of us have done this before, and we're all going to do it again. But it's going to be really interesting where a lot of my mod sets end up. And do I mod tunes more for speed because their masteries just do all the work for me? For example, like CLS is a perfect example. His mastery is because he needed this, right? Everybody, he needed damage, crit chance, and crit damage. He needed all those stats, right? Now I don't have to worry about offense as much because he's going to one-shot everything already anyway. So now I can focus more on like speed. Sure, I can put some offense on him. Still leave the offense cross, crit damage triangle, right? I'm not saying I'm going to take those off him. It's just you can now focus on different secondaries that also maybe give him a little bit more survivability. Well, maybe not too much more than they'll lose guard, but it changes the way you mod your characters for sure. And like I enjoy the puzzle. I don't claim to be the best at the puzzle. I'm not. My name isn't Macias, but I do enjoy the puzzle when it comes to modding your team.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally agree, man. Totally agree.
So, any other questions from the chat that we missed?
Let me check. Oh,
Mark had some, but I'm pretty sure
Mark-
Kyle just kind of answered some.
Yeah, Mark asked what
Okay.
CC mods. I told him that the relics.
Well, Mark, you want to look at their masteries. So if their mastery gives them crit chance, like Chewbacca, his relic gives him crit chance, which means you can just take the crit chance set off him.
Yeah.
Grievous gets crit chance, which means you don't have to have the crit chance on him. You can now mod more for health and crit damage.
Yeah.
But a crit damage triangle. It just kind of... No. Well, maybe.
Oh, I
It-
didn't
it's-
even see this. Actually, on Anakin, he gets more physical crit chance as well. He gets 15% at level 6. So
Oh wow.
maybe I'm not sure if that's just for Anakin because that's his his growth for
think
that
the-
one agility.
I think the upgrades are roughly similar. They may be tuned specifically for different
Yeah.
tunes. But I think the upgrade is... I don't have any evidence of this, but I think the upgrades are fairly uniform. They might deviate slightly by like smaller or bigger percentages based on how important they want the characters. I have no idea if the Negotiator is the number one offense team. I have beat it on offense with the Falcon.
I just did a few tests with my TFP, Thrawn, and the Poe team. It only beat it 1 out of 4 times. It's either
Yeah.
you crit Anakin, and then you finish him up with him being like 1 HP with his Savior ability, and then you come in later and you kill him, or you just lose straight off the bat. I mean, it's really tough with what I read.
Yep. Yep. So with the Falcon, I'm 3 out of 4 so far. So you basically what you do is you proc somebody's Savior, and then you AOE, and then you have 2 dispels off the bench for when they go stealth. And GK's ultimate's not particularly good. I mean, no offense to his ult, right? And he dazed, and like the next turn, all my tunes cleanse. So
I'm pretty sure when it comes to relics, they all get a bump in CC. I'm looking at a lot of my Gear 13s now. It seems like they all get some sort of CC increase.
okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Which that means kind of that really doesn't matter then with CC. It doesn't really matter that much when it comes to modding.
So here's a quick question for you two at least. I guess Lady Pool can answer if she's still here, too. Now that the Vulture
Yeah.
Droid is in shipments, how soon until we see the Malevolence?
I honestly think
What
we're
is that
seeing
noise?
Malevolence very soon. It would be Monster Hunter World. Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we will see the Malevolence soon.
Soon
That one.
TM.
Soon.
Yes, soon TM.
Yes.
All right. What do you guys think, Kyle and Ian?
You go first, Kyle.
What was the question again? I got
With the
distracted
Vulture
by
Droid hitting with the Vulture Droid hitting shipments, how long before you think the Malevolence shows up?
to be honest. So out of habit, I almost, because Sunday, we got our territory battle, rewards, yay, whee. I almost went in out of habit to get the Negotiator shards, and I talked myself out of it because I was like, you know what? I feel like the Negotiator is not going to be what we think it is. I think it's going to be a solid, fleet capital ship, absolutely. But I think I think the Malevolence is going to come sooner rather than later, and the people that have been desperately trying to get the Negotiator are going to get a slap in the face when the Malevolence comes, and they don't have the currency to spend on it, whether it be through the GET2 or whatever, or hell, it might be. We need the Negotiator at 5 stars to get the Malevolence, and then I'll look like a complete schmuck.
Well, I mean, the thing is, if you don't spend your get to, you're not punished. Right? If you don't spend get to, you are not punished.
Exactly.
Because you can buy the Negotiator whenever you want.
Exactly. It's there.
And
You can buy it.
And if the Malevolence comes out and is better, you can just buy the Malevolence.
Exactly.
I wish I
That's my
hoarded a little bit
solution.
more.
I ignore that store because I need get 1 for Malik and get 2 for whatever the next ship is, for whatever the next thing I'm buying. So I have legitimately just not looked at that store in a very long time because I cannot buy anything out of it. I've never really hoarded before in this game, and this is like the first time I've ever successfully I haven't gotten there yet, right? But I've successfully gotten there on hoarding. Just one specific currency. So.
Well, my take
Yeah.
on the whole malevolence is I think if you want to kind of take it as this whole Shock T now being free to play, she's been here for like almost a month, I think, or I'm not sure. But I think whenever we're going to get this next event, that's going to be roughly the same amount of time we'll get the next malevolence. And I think it's going to make total sense because if you think about having Mallet coming out for the second time, it's kind of screwing over those people getting him for the second time because they're going to put all those resources into him, and then we are going to probably get this next meta soon. And I think they're going to do the same thing here with the Negotiator. I think they're going to do having him be accessible for the people that have all the currency for him, and then a little bit later, like let's say a month or so down the line, boom, Malevolence comes into the game with Vulture Droid being free to play friendly and potentially a new ship that can kind of top off the whole faction with like the Seps and the Geos. I mean, what is there, like 4 ships besides that potential Malevolence? I think we'll be for sure seeing some new Separatists.
Well, if not, you'll see the Houndstooth in the IG-2K.
Yeah, some droids, yeah, true.
IG-2K works very well with Vulture Droid, especially if there's multiple.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see IG-2K and Houndstooth. So that right there is a 6-team fleet.
Yeah.
Right?
And you got to keep in mind the 5-star on the Capitals, you only get like 3 reinforcements, I think, for the 5-star version.
Yep. So if you have a 5-star capital ship, that's your team.
Yeah.
Right? Who knows I don't know who the starters are versus the bench players, right? But unlike the Galactic Republic where there's like a piece missing, right? At least in my opinion, I think there's a piece missing from the Galactic Republic meta.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a piece missing from the Separatist meta. I think that team is good.
Yeah. I think it is too.
Yeah. Here's hoping that they don't put the Malevolence in Get To.
I hope they just kind of, at all of the end of this Clone Wars content, we'll get the ship from some sort of legendary event, kind of like a Falcon. You'll need some of these ships, like the Vulture Droid, like the Geos. Maybe if there's another marquee down the line, we'll get like another ship there. That's like 5 ships roughly, right? You get those 5, you go in there, you get the Malevolence, something like that. I don't know.
I'm hoping it's a legendary. I'm hoping it's a legendary that is basically impossible for you to unlock with the Endurance. Right? That's kind of my...
Dude, I really hope Mace gets his rework soon. Oh my gosh. I got 2 Gear 13s just waiting to be done. Same pieces. 5s and Mace. I'm really hoping.
So one of the things we like to do here is we like to talk about stuff other than Swuggo. So what other stuff are you doing with your free time?
Outside of YouTube and this game, which takes up a large part of my day, I do like to exercise / work out. That takes like an hour or so, like right before my videos. Don't watch too much TV, but I do like to play other games outside of this game. And honestly, I would like to do some more content. I saw a question down there you guys made if I want to branch out to other stuff. I would love to do that. I just don't know when would be a good time because right now, Relics came out. We're having a lot of other content coming soon. So I'm not sure if now's a good time to branch out. But I do, me and Tanner, he's in the chat, we love Overwatch. We play a lot of different Xbox games, and that's one of my favorite things to do. And hey, if YouTube doesn't work out, I'll get a real job soon. So, I'll have my time, I'll be busy.
Yeah. What about you, DBK? What have you been up to?
Well, I've been working on my Kree minions and my defenders in Marvel Strike Force.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I've been playing a lot more on Marvel Strike Force too because of the Swuggo Doldrums.
Like last night, after getting news that my guild lead would be retiring soon, TM, and that one member was retiring yesterday, then decided to leave right before 20 minutes before guild reset, so he missed his 600 tickets. Just want to flip the bird to him right now. Yeah, that kind of ticked me off. And then so that kind of threw me off yesterday, and I almost forgot about Marvel Strike Force, and I took the extra 10 minutes to get my 600 in Marvel Strike Force. But I've been slowly getting back into Marvel Strike Force, because to be honest, at least I like the graphics on that game, and I know
Yeah,
what to expect out of Fox Next. We know
It's also
their
an
packs
8
don't.
gigabyte game on mobile.
Yeah.
We just
Holy cow.
yeah. That's why it looks so nice. It is like 8 point something gigs on mobile.
Yeah,
It is
it doesn't
kind of
take-
silly.
It doesn't take. I think Swugga is now at like 86 gigabytes.
No.
Joking,
Swugger's
joking.
like yeah. The
It's
the
a lot,
graphics on
but
that are just like super on point.
They are. It's a beautiful
So-
game. And you know what? Like I was saying, we know I've been playing. So that's the second game I've been playing since launch, and I'm starting to get back into it. I've been playing it on and off for a year and a half, but
Yeah, I'm
It-
also a launch player on Marvel Strike Force.
it's easy to.
I have a
be
brother who
free to-
plays it about as competitively as I play Swugga, so
Oh, nice.
I've kind of continued to dabble in it.
But
So-
it's easy to be free to play in there because you know that Fox Next literally only wants your money. So it's easy to say, you know what, not today.
Yeah.
CG, we were
So
over the last, up until just recently, the paywalls haven't been too insane, and I might get lynched for saying that. But at least with Fox Next, we know, hey, it's going to cost a lot. So you can just play the
Yeah.
game at your speed.
we know. Yeah, we normally talk about the NFL a lot here too, but because I know Ian's a basketball fan, we can kind of touch on that. The NBA season, the NBA season is going to be starting here in about a month.
Heck yeah,
Uh,
dude.
Who's
Yeah.
your team,
So how do you
Ian?
feel about the Jazz? They've been retooling their roster to build around Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, I think the Jazz, with what they've been doing with their getting these new guys, I mean, it's something that some of these other teams, they got to watch out for. The Jazz, I think a lot of the people are underestimating them for the most part. I mean,
You have a pretty
Donovan's-
lethal rotation 1 through 3.
oh
Right.
yeah,
But like you now have like 2-point guards, a couple of like you guys went out and got like Moutier, Bogdanovich. I think you even traded for Connolly.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
you're
a
gonna-
lot of variations that we can kind of swap in and out. It's going to be pretty fun to see.
Yeah, you even acquired Jeff Green to be a big who's super athletic.
Yeah,
So-
that was a good pickup.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for Utah because it looks like they're trying to compete with Houston and Golden State this year. Who knows how well
Dude,
both of
I-
those teams will compete?
Dude, I love the Warriors and the Rockets, but I just feel like they're just too good. They're just too good. Kind of like the
Yeah.
Patriots. They're just too good.
Oh man, yeah. So I'm one of those. I've said this before. I'm a person where one of the things I like to say is game recognizes game, right? If you're great, I'm gonna be a fan of yours. I may not like you as a person. I may not love your play style, but why would I hate LeBron James and not want to watch him?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What I want to watch the Patriots because they've been doing this for 20 years. Well,
Yeah.
18, I think, right? But like this is kind of ridiculous. Like this is the Warriors are another one of those teams where like everyone said forever you couldn't win a championship as a jump shooting team, and they're just like, hold my beer, right?
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yep.
So I love watching these teams play. Like I'm more of a basketball fan than I am of a specific team. It's not like football or baseball where I'm more of a fan of specific teams. But I love watching the great players in basketball because it's such a
absolutely.
small number of players playing. There's like 15 players per team in 12 drafts. So you really get to see the best players, unlike hockey where they play like 20% of the game or whatever because they have shifts. In football, you only get to see them on one side of the ball. And if they're like a receiver, they might not even get the ball thrown to them that many times. Right? So I love how basketball is very star-centric. So when you turn on a game to watch LeBron James play, if he's healthy, you're going to watch LeBron James play.
Exactly.
You're going to go to watch Donovan Mitchell play. You know, I really love that aspect of the NBA, where it's like I will always get what I pay for. Well, I shouldn't say that, right? Because there are some times that teams lay eggs. But generally, when you go to a game to see James Harden play, you get to see James Harden play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's awesome. Even if he does travel on every shot. Have you seen that step back? That's 3 steps.
Yes,
I
I
can count
know.
to 3.
I have seen it. It is a little bit ridiculous.
You know, I respect the crap out of that guy though. Like his offense is ridiculous, dude. Oh my gosh.
That is the fastest slow person I've ever seen in my life. And like that's actually a compliment.
That checks out.
He doesn't go anywhere fast. But you always foul him.
He just kind of manipulates you, dude. He just like all up in your grill, man. He just manipulates you. He gets the foul.
He has like a rocker step, and he has a hesitate where he just like he just lulls you to sleep, and then you just grab him.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where he's a little bit too overboard, but I mean, I'm not sure like what the stats are on like his points, but I'm pretty sure a large amount of his points are just from free throws. Like it's got to be.
Yeah, and he's not even like that efficient of a shooter, if I recall. Like, I mean, he's gotten a little better as his career's gone on, but he's still a volume shooter. He's very much a Kobe style. Like, I'm not comparing his play style to Kobe, but like Kobe never shot the ball particularly at a particularly high percentage. He just took a lot of shots, and he missed a lot of bad shots that were good shots for him because he could make them. And Harden is a lot of that. If Harden only took good shots, he'd shoot a good percentage. Right, but he takes a handful of bad shots every game and makes like one of them, which kind of like decreases his overall percentage. But like, it's like when Steph Curry first started hitting threes, he was hitting them from between half court and the 3-point line. That's not a good shot for anybody but him.
Dude, watching him and the whole team just shoot with Clay, I mean, it's almost as if you're just playing a video game. You're just playing 2K, and you got like all of the attributes set to 100, and everyththing goes in. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. No, I get that. And then on top of that, they have like their center/power forward that plays point guard, so everybody else on the floor can just shoot. Right? Like the Warriors are special because like Draymond Green plays point guard, so all their shooters can just like space the floor. Man,
it's just really fun to see some of these teams play. I love NBA. I know there's some people that prefer college to NBA, and I can kind of get that. I love March Madness. But there's just something special about NBA to me. I just love the NBA.
Yeah. I like my players to when they miss a layup, it's because it's blocked, not because they hit the bottom of the rim. Yes, I'm talking about college basketball. I'm watching the NCAA tournament last year, and in one game I watched a guy knock the ball so hard off the backboard it never touched the rim on a layup. And I watched another guy like lay the ball up off the bottom of the rim. I watched a guy get hung on a dunk. Like, I don't want to see that. That's not entertaining to me. That's cringy. Like, we were talking about this about college football, too. I'm very much an execution person. I want to see the best execute at a high level. That's one of the reasons I like watching teams like the Patriots, and I like watching – next year the Lakers are going to be a blast to watch, right?
Yeah.
I love watching teams that execute at a high level.
Yeah.
So, and that's me specifically. I know some other people are more homers, and I know some people will call me not loyal because my fandom does kind of change and rotate as it goes, but like I'm a fan of basketball, right? I like players like Steve Nash. I grew up loving Steve Nash.
Okay.
I love
I love the way he played the game. I've always been a fan of players, and when Steve Nash went, from the Mavs to the Suns, I had a buddy say, "Oh, so now you're just a Suns fan." I'm like, no, I'm a Steve Nash fan. Right? My allegiance never actually changes. It just moves from team to team. Like I love the way Anthony Davis plays basketball. I was never a huge Lakers fan, and I was never a huge Pelicans fan. But Anthony Davis is special. And boy is he fun.
Unibrow, huh?
Yeah, like the dude just balls. I don't really have a good way to put it. He's always involved, does everything.
Yeah.
Man.
Going back on Harden, dude, you know that the the Thunder had all three. They had Westbrook, KD, and Harden at one point in time. And
if
they
only
didn't win
Westbrook
anything.
had if only Westbrook has not said him or me.
Yeah.
I mean, they did almost win. They just ran into the buzzsaw that was, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, and LeBron James.
Yeah.
Right? And then Ron Artest broke James Harden's face. I don't know if you remember that.
Meta World Peace.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Meta World Peace broke James Harden's face. Like every time I get mad at James Harden for traveling, I just remember that, Ron Artest broke him. Yep. Okay. At one point in his life, he paid for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That checks out.
No, in all seriousness, though, sometimes it's frustrating to watch a player. It's frustrating to watch certain players play because it's because they're great, right? It's the whole how do you phrase this? Growing up in Minnesota and growing up around Vikings fans, being from Wisconsin, right? We hated Brett Favre. I say the collective we as Minnesota fans. I'm a homer a little bit. I root for all the home teams here in Minnesota, but I don't think I'm a fan of an actual fan of any one of the teams here in Minnesota, except for maybe the Twins. The Twins are awesome, but it's so tough because every time for Vikings fans, you look around, you're like, everyone else has a great quarterback. Why does ours suck? It's I don't know. Stop picking bad ones. The Ravens won with Joe Flacco.
I mean,
He's not
the Bears did this. We're having the same thing.
I mean, Trubisky, I don't even know if Trubisky's a good quarterback. I think it's the coach and the defense.
That's probably
Trubisky has yet to
true.
show me. He has yet to show me that he's traditionally good. I know Cousins was 0-6 last year against teams with a winning record, threw a pick six to lose in the game against the Bears, and then absolutely shit himself on Sunday and should be fired.
Yeah.
But that's $80 million the Vikings wasted, and it's just man. I love watching football, and that's kind of the correlation I make to James Harden. It's hard watching James Harden play the same way it was hard watching Brett Favre play growing up, when everybody in your house was the Packers suck, go Vikings, and you're just well, he's beating the brakes off you again, right?
Yeah.
That's how James Harden feels. It's you want to root for the other team, but he just systematically, because he's so consistent at drawing fouls.
Well, and to kind of
my only-
piggyback on that, I feel the same way. When Jordan was playing,
Yep. Jordan locked the entire league out of winning. I imagine the entire league was just pissed off.
I mean,
Shaq switched conferences so he didn't have to play against Michael.
Yeah. Rip Penny Hardaway.
Rip Penny Hardaway. That dude was also awesome.
Dude, yeah.
There were teams that John Stockton and Karl Malone never won a ring because Michael Jordan existed.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm totally fine with that, man. I think Michael Jordan is awesome. Everybody does.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
The love
Yep.
for
I
those
grew
two, John Stockton.
I grew up about 45
I don't even care
minutes
if
from
they couldn't get the
Chicago,
rings.
so yeah.
No, I get that, and that's kind of how I feel about. And to make a segue, that's kind of how I feel about New England. I know that there are haters, yada yada yada, and we can debate whether or not they cheated or not. Even though the Wells report said they didn't, and sixth graders proved with science experiments that was bullshit. And everyone else was videotaping everybody else's practice, but the Jets got butthurt. Right? We can argue the cheating here, there, everywhere, but at the end of the day, in 20 years, Tom Brady's still gonna be the greatest of all time, and Belichick's still gonna be the greatest coach of all time.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I'm going to have had the pleasure of watching them for 20 years or more. So it really depends on if you want to be a salty individual or just enjoy
Football.
greatness.
Yeah, enjoy
Right?
football, enjoy
I-
greatness.
Yeah, LeBron locked the entire East out of winning. Why do you think all the good players were in the West?
Yeah.
Right? And now he switched conferences. So I expect a lot of the good players to go back to the East now. Again, that's what the greats do, is they just make you leave. That's why good players don't go to Miami, Buffalo. It's because they don't want to play against Brady twice a year.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't that, and half the time those three teams are just trying to all they're trying to do is beat New England instead of just trying to be the best of them as they can be. Enjoy greatness. Don't be a salty fan. I was a Twins fan in the 90s and 2000s. The Vikings choke everywhere. I have to deal with that on a daily basis. The Wild can be the best team in the entire league in hockey, and then like be the 1 seed and lose in 6 games to the seed. This is my life. I am from Loserville, U.S. We're not quite Cleveland Browns territory, right? We don't invent ways to lose. Like they lined up to kick a field goal to win a game, tie game. They lined up to kick a field goal, had it blocked and returned for a touchdown with zeros on the clock. We don't invent ways to lose, but we sure do lose.
Do lose. Yeah, like I mean, like so back in the late '90s, you know, to talk about the greats. I loved watching the Denver Broncos. So I loved football back in the '90s. It was not watered down. You got to.
Was that back when you could touch the quarterback?
What's that?
Was that back when you could touch the quarterback?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the receivers at that. Hey, he touched me after the 5-yard mark. Oh, shut up. Like the reason that the whole you can't touch the wide receiver rule came up is because of players like what was it, Mike McKenzie, Al Harris, Adam Archuleta for the Rams. You know that those physical defensive backs is what really caused that.
Well, more specifically, it was the invention of. So, when we're talking about the way offenses kind of lit up in the NFL, we have to go back to like the late '90s when like fantasy football kind of took. And then we have to sit and talk about like Randy Moss, and like he was the first like 6'4", 210-pound receiver to run like a 4.3 or whatever. He was tall, big, and fast, right? Normally receivers were, you know, small and fast or big and slow. He was like the first total package in the NFL. And he was fighting against 5'9" corners.
Yeah,
right?
there wasn't
so, like, we saw an Yeah, so we saw a very quick evolution of defensive backs because we started seeing the TOs, the physical receivers starting to take over. So once the defensive back started to catch up physically, they started putting in more and more rules to prevent receivers from being impeded, we'll say. And we started putting in more rules for being able to hit the quarterback. Like we have this new rule now, it's a couple years ago, because someone, DPK's team's quarterback, got sand in his vagina after being rammed into the ground by Anthony Barr. So now you can't tackle a quarterback with your full weight. Yeah, you heard me.
What?
You cannot tackle a quarterback using your full weight. That is now a penalty because of Aaron Rodgers' broken collarbone. Yep.
When did that go into play?
I must have missed that.
I don't know when.
Did it really?
You tell me the year that Aaron Rodgers was out for the season, and it was the year after that.
Well, that was 2 years ago, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Anyways, my point being is like there's these, and now we can review pass interference because the Saints fans are salty.
Wait, what?
By the way, there's a scoreboard check for all you Saints fans. With 27-9, yeah, the ball don't lie.
Ooh.
Ball don't lie. You lost twice. Man, like that's the other thing too. The social media age has affected sports. Like to double back to basketball, the child that is Kevin Durant on Twitter. Oh my God. I don't know if you've heard this, Ian, but like this guy has like dummy accounts to argue against random people for himself.
What?
I don't really follow anybody that plays sports on any social media because I don't even have social media. So.
Oh, that's fair. I listen to like First Things First and like Colin Cowherd. I listen to a couple sports podcasts.
Yeah.
It's nuts how thin a lot of these guys' skin is. Like I'm sure you've been following the Anthony Brown saga, where he basically told his coach to go bleep himself, or no, he told somebody in the Raiders organization to just go bleep themselves, and then they cut him. And like that had to be the longest con ever to get to New England.
And then New England signed him, and then right after New England signed him, a sexual assault charge goes against him, and I'm just like, dude.
Oh, I'd like to give a round of applause. I forget who beat the Steelers. But thank you for putting Ben out for the season.
Oh, he
Beautiful.
looked
He's beautiful, beautiful beast.
he looked like a little kid pouting after someone took his toilet. Sitting on the sidelines. I was
So, for those of you who
dying.
For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge Ravens fan, and I love the Baltimore Ravens. When I was a kid, I couldn't be a Packer fan. I couldn't be a Viking fan because of my family. So I picked the worst team in the league to be a fan of. It turns out we now have more Super Bowl rings. So that, but I remember Ben. Oh no, I broke my elbow. Sorry, I'm just kidding. It was like a sprain, and I'm gonna play this week. Right? His entire career has been like these devastating injuries that take him 2 weeks to come back from. It's like, oh, so you weren't hurt. Right? That's been his shtick. I'm a tough guy. Look at me play. And then he like ate the bumper of an 18-wheeler, and I kind of smiled. Right? For those of you who don't know, he also got a facial reconstruction surgery after running into an 18-wheeler on his motorcycle.
That's hilarious.
But right? No, but I don't hate Big Ben. I just think it's funny that like he's out for the season after being like this tough guy who like broke his collarbone and then played 2 weeks later. I guess your collarbone wasn't broken? Right? Like,
Yeah.
That's not a 2-week recovery period, buddy. But yeah, it's the irony of like the tough guy getting hurt for the season. And then for those of you who follow football, you'll probably remember Mike Tomlin walking onto the field on a kick return that was going to be a touchdown. And he walked onto the field during a play that forced the kick returner back into the field to play to get tackled, cost the Ravens a touchdown, which would have won them the game. And the Steelers went to the Super Bowl, which then they then lost to the Packers. You're welcome, DPK. And there's a sour taste in my mouth, and I hate Mike Tomlin, and I'll probably hate him till the day I die for costing us a 3rd Super Bowl ring. So there you go. There's my Baltimore Ravens history lesson for you guys.
But yeah, I really miss the 90s. Seeing the outrageously good defenses just, go to the Super Bowl, and then so one of my favorite Super Bowls was, I believe, the first Super Bowl after the turn of the century was the Titans versus the Rams.
Oh yeah, the greatest show on turf versus the we're 1 yard short and Kevin Dyson.
Yes, that one. That was an amazing Super Bowl.
Yes,
I miss that type of.
Also,
play.
the reason that's memorable is because that's the year before the Patriots kicked off their dynasty.
Well, and then
Vinatieri kicked the field goal the next year.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, because he was able to, Vinatieri was able to beat they were able to beat the Rams. That's right. I remember that now.
Also, and you wonder why a certain woman got upset I couldn't remember the anniversary, but in the playoffs that year, the Titans did the little lateral thing in the playoffs to win the game at the buzzer. I don't remember if it was in the divisional or the championship game, but like they won a game by like doing the lateral thing on a kickoff with no time on the clock.
Did they?
So that was a pretty memorable moment for me. That made me instantly love the Titans and hope that they would win. And so I was kind of that gave me like a rooting interest in the Super Bowl, and I was sad when they came up a yard short.
That was rough. I really liked what was it, Eddie George?
Titans running back?
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked
Steve McNair.
Yeah, Steve McNair, Eddie George. I was rooting for the Rams because Marshall Faulk and just the Rams defense they were monsters that year. They had probably one of the more physical defenses in the 90s at that point.
Yeah. Ian, do you have any football interest? Like, do you watch a lot of football?
I watch much football, but I did love me some Colts. I still kind of do. But I was more around the era with Peyton Manning and the Colts. You get that running back, you get Edge, Dallas Clark, like all those guys. Those guys were
Yeah.
fun to watch when they won that Super Bowl. Was it like 06 versus the Bears? I don't know. But that was some good team. Right now, with how football is, that doesn't really catch my interest too much. So,
Yeah,
there was
football's become a
lot
little
of
bit weaker
injuries
of a
this week.
sport. Yeah, football's become a weaker sport over the last decade or so, in my opinion.
It has.
Weaker in the sense that like we baby offensive players and punish defensive players kind of for existing to a certain extent, and basically like the other sports are catching up. Like basketball is catching up in a hurry. Holy crap! Like just the popularity of basketball because you can. I think people are starting to realize that you can get more emotionally invested in basketball because you actually can identify the people who are your best players. There's no helmets. There's only 15-man rosters. I still love football. Don't get me wrong. But basketball, even my dad, who was a lifelong football fan, basketball is growing on him the last few years. The Kevin Durant saga, right? There's great storyline in basketball that you can follow. Like the Golden State Warriors have been a great, great thing to follow. You have like when you get to the playoffs, you have Milwaukee just like absolutely defecating all over themselves every time they have to play LeBron, even when they're like the best team in Toronto absolutely defecating themselves 2 years in a row after having to play LeBron. But it's like, well, you were the best team in the league and you like just literally can't beat one player. So I think that all kind of lends itself, at least to me, to being a far more motivational reason to watch basketball, because it's become kind of what football used to be with its own narratives. We used to have people like Terrell Owens, and love him or hate him, he definitely made you care on Wednesday that the NFL existed.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown, to a certain extent, was that as well. But you used to care, like Donovan McNabb used to go up on stage and say, "I didn't know we could tie." Right? You used to have like personalities, and I kind of miss that in the NFL. So I know there's another game that. Sorry, Lady Pool. One more thing. I was gonna say I know that.
Oh no. Okay.
I was gonna say I know that there's one other thing I wanted to touch on tonight, and I know not everyone here plays Magic the Gathering, but they have a new set coming out that's based off of Grimm's Fairy Tale. And I know myself, like a lot of other Magic players, are super, super pumped about this because the art's beautiful, the mechanics are gorgeous, and yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait for it to come out. I also play competitive Magic the Gathering. Go ahead, Lady Pool.
I wrote notes about this, and there they are. I found them.
Never
mind. But it's the Throne of Eldraine, and I am freaking stoked about it. I really am. Like Duggar said, it's Grimm's Fairy Tale meets Camelot meets Magic the Gathering. You have knights in shining armor, fairies, mythical beasts. Like it's freaking awesome. I've seen some of the cards; they are absolutely amazing. They introduced something new too. Let me scroll back down to it where my note is.
The adventure mechanic.
Searing Barrage is one of the new cards they have in it. And Searing Barrage is a 5-drop instant that deals sizzling 5 damage to a target creature. But it also has a new card mechanic called Adamant. Adamant, if at least 3 red mana was spent to cast this spell, Searing Barrage deals 3 damage directly to that creature's controller. So it completely bypasses the creature and attacks the person directly.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of the new things that I've read in there that I'm like, ooh, I want to play with this. This sounds fun. Yeah. There's quite a few new cards in there that look like a lot of fun. Like Seer Kara, I think is how you pronounce her. It's a 5 mana cost legendary creature, human knight with 3/3 power and toughness. Whenever Seer Kara the Bold or an instant or sorcery spell you control deals damage to a player, exile the top card of your library, and then you may play that card this turn. And when you tap Seer Kara, it deals 1 damage to any target. That's another one that I'm like looking forward to because I think it also, if I remember, it does token damage too. Or was that the other
Yeah.
one?
So one of the cool cards I saw is that they
Yeah.
have a card called Seven Dwarves, and normally in Magic you can only have four
No,
different
that was
copies
Worthy
of a card.
Knight.
You can only have four
Worthy
copies
Knight
of a
does
card in
the
your deck.
token. Mm-hmm.
And with the Seven Dwarves, you can have 7 of that card in your deck. And that's fantastic. And I can't,
Oh, that is fantastic.
I can't
That
wait.
is.
There's also a lot more other flavor coming from here.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful set. I don't know if anybody actually cares, but I just wanted to kind of touch on it because I know Lady Pool and I are both ecstatic for this.
Yeah. It looks
Lady Pool,
phenomenal.
you have
The
a,
artwork, of
kiddo
course, is
that's
on
in trouble,
point.
coming down
Yeah,
to you,
she just came down. She's here.
and she
But
looks like
yeah,
a
it's
clown.
Worthy Knight. It's a 2 mana cost, 2/2 human knight. And whenever you cast a knight spell, it creates a 1/1 white human creature token.
Yeah.
And I am excited about that because it's like not only going to have tokens in this with this deck, but it looks to be like a red-white deck, which that in itself is going to be fun to play.
He
and
uses 7 mana for a guy.
So you're gonna have the tokens. You're gonna have some awesome new things like the adamant coming in there that deals damage directly to the life points instead of the creatures, and it looks amazing. I cannot wait.
Yes. Yeah, Dio Kobe. It's Magic the Gathering. It's shorthand as Magic, but I don't know. I've been. This is another game I've been playing for years. I've played more than somewhat competitively. Yeah, just.
I don't know if I'm breaking up or if you're breaking up.
Probably.
Okay, so this deck also reminds me of a TV show that Amazon Prime came out with that I'm actually like freaking loving, but it's called Carnival Row, and it's very much like a noir steampunky type of era with fantasy creatures, and it's actually a really good show. It really is. I highly suggest if you have Prime. It's free with Prime, so I highly suggest.
Well, I think we can actually wrap this up a little early this week. I would like to. Anybody else have any?
No. I just can't. I'm not sure what Magic is, so I can't really chat too much.
Oh no. That's fine. We like to spend the last half hour to 45 minutes kind of just chatting about interests that we all have. Eventually.
Did you cut out there, Dagger?
Eventually, he's potato.
Yeah, I just think that we're all kind of like real life. Yeah. Well, mine says that I have 3 bars and that I'm not potatoing, so it might be me. But my. But yeah, I think we're all friends here, and I like to just like have other stuff to fall back on because even after Swugga's gone, I to do this.
And who knows? We might not. We might be seeing the closing, the swan song of Swugga here.
I'm
It'll
sorry,
never die.
Fruit guy.
Well-
CLS used 3 or 4 mana. Really?
I'm not dignifying that with a response.
What's the next ship
'cause he'll
to
just
come
make
out, Yoda? The next.
But I would like to thank everyone for coming out. I would like to thank Ian for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you, buddy.
indeed.
Yeah, hopefully
Thank
next
you.
week DPK doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully I can get him to do some prep work before he just starts the stream next week. So we'll see.
All right, Ian, we love you. We're going to put all your information into the description. And I think that kind of wraps.
Sounds good. It was a good show, guys.
Thank
Good
you
stuff.
guys for coming out. I'm sorry about the not being on the other channel. That will be. I'll probably do Wednesday stream for GAC actually on the other channel just to make sure everything's set up for it. So
When do you plan on doing your streams? because I could wait for you to do yours because I'm in really no rush to do mine.
I usually try to do mine. I usually get home about 7:30, 8, so I try to get home